Wizards of the Coast has just introduced a concept from sports cards into Magic the Gathering Secret Lairs. Going forwards, you will have an opportunity to find in Secret Lairs incredibly limited edition variation printings of older Magic cards. Now, these variations are incredibly rare to the point where there are 100 or less of them in existence, and the first one that was discovered has already sold for thousands of dollars.
Magic. History.
I'm an old wizard!
The Magic Historian.
My bones hurt. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well. It is Crimson Vow pre-release weekend. I'm heading to a pre-release tonight. Super excited about it. So hope you will also get the opportunity to enjoy that. Now that my excitement is out of the way, let's talk about the crazy development in the world of Magic the Gathering. Specifically, these new crazy variations that you can get in Secret Lairs that mimic a concept from sports cards and ultimately feel to me like just the tip of the iceberg. So, in case you haven't seen it already, it's probably only been out for about 24 hours, let's put the card we're talking about up on the screen. This is Viscera Seer. Now, you'll notice immediately it's a very odd looking card. The text is printed backwards. In fact, the entire card is flipped. You can't tell that by looking at the artwork if you're not familiar with the original, but essentially everything on this card has been reversed. I'm not sure if the mana symbol has actually been flipped, but its position has been flipped. It's hard to tell with the skull because it's pretty much symmetrical. There might be a slight variation, but it's difficult to see with my old eyes. Either way, it's a funky concept that grabs your attention at first and you go, wait, what's with this weird kind of mirrored card? You know, like what's the idea behind this? And then your eyes might be drawn to the golden numbers in the bottom right-hand corner where it says number 77 out of 100. Now you might think to yourself that that's actually, oh, there's a set of 100 different cards and this might be card 77 out of that set. That's actually what I had considered when I first saw it too. But it turns out that someone else has come forward and has found a Viscera Seer numbered in the 30s. So at this point, we can safely confirm that these are indeed incredibly limited print runs. Wizards of the Coast hasn't come out and given specifics, but on the surface, it appears that there will only be 100 copies of this card in the entire world. Now, bear in mind, this is a common, okay? We're talking about a common card that is from an older set like M11. That's the level we're dealing with in terms of the power level of the card. So it's not like it's a terrible common. It's a pretty solid common, and it does see actual play in Constructed, which most commons in Magic don't really get to do. But the reason I'm trying to drive home the fact that this is common is this card is being auctioned off and it's going for thousands and thousands of dollars. The bids are absolutely wild for this. Now, it could be the fact that it's the very first one that has appeared and people weren't sure what it was that caused this flurry of activity. But if you think about it, how many cards in Magic the Gathering are limited to a print run of 100? There are very, very few cards you could find that would fall under that threshold. We're talking like the Heroes of the Realm card, that crazy Shikafukin dragon. I cannot pronounce his name. I can't remember, but there's like one of them. You know what I mean? Or the special Magic cards that Richard Garfield made for his friends and family to commemorate different events. Those are all extremely rare items, but they are few and far between. This represents something incredibly rare, but at the same time attainable. All you have to do to have a chance to get one of these is to pick up a secret lair. So for example, this one came out of the Praetor secret lair. So you know the secret lair that has all 5 Praetors done in the Phyrexian language? Well, the majority of those secret lairs just have your swamp, or they may include some other promo, but very few of them will have these Viscera Seers. Now, we don't know if these are spread across just the Phyrexian secret lair or if they're spread across all the secret lairs, for this upcoming batch because it takes time for information to really kind of trickle out when it comes to Secret Lairs, because we deal with a crazy schedule where you have the Secret Lair announcement and then 6 months later is when you actually get fulfillment where they start showing up in people's hands. So it's kind of difficult to get information about a Secret Lair that hasn't like fully made its way out, and we don't know about surrounding Secret Lairs and people cracking all their drops. I know that more information should start to trickle in. Obviously, the fact that we've gotten a second copy of this to confirm the concept is some information, but I don't know if this is going to be spread across all the Secret Lairs or if each Secret Lair is going to have its own particular card that you have a very small chance of getting. I don't know exactly like how deep they're going with this experiment, but it clearly shows they're pushing out into a new direction, and it's going to be met in two different ways. There are going to be people who are frustrated that these really, really cool cards are going to be incredibly difficult to acquire. And I understand that, because when I look at the Viserys here, I think, wow, this thing mirrored is really neat, and I would love to have one for my cube, but the chances of getting one for my cube when there's only 100 in the entire world are very, very, very low, especially since the price range of these things will be crazy for me. But this one is just a common, and it's going for thousands of dollars. Imagine when they start to do like crazy stuff with it. If you want to go completely on the wildest scale, imagine like a mirrored old bordered Urza from Modern Horizons. Something like that, where people would go bonkers for it, right? The price would go through the roof on those, because we're dealing with a card that is playable, but is readily accessible, there's tons of, and was a common. So if they did this with some crazy mythic rare that people were really chasing after, who knows like where the ceiling is in terms of prices for this. You have people who are super frustrated about not being able to get the cards. You have people who are super excited about the lottery aspect of it, right? Because this fundamentally changes Secret Lairs. Up until now, Secret Lairs have had a particular recipe. You have the main Secret Lair cards for whatever the Secret Lair is supposed to be, and then you have a bonus card which either is or is not tied to that Secret Lair and by a certain level of strength. And by that I mean you'll have Secret Lairs where the bonus card is completely detached from the cards that are in there. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like, you've got 5 cards over here and they're themed around Garfield, and you have a stained glass planeswalker. There's no connection between them. And then you have things like the Walking Dead Secret Lair where the bonus card is literally Buddy's baseball bat, Lucille, right? So in that case, it's directly tied to it. And then you have kind of in the middle where you have, like, let's say it's a cat Secret Lair, and they make sure to include a cat planeswalker or something else that ties into cat. So it's not exactly connected, but it has at least a tenuous connection. But that was pretty much the entirety of how it worked, although it did seem like they were taking a foray into making Secret Lair bonus cards a little more stratified with rarity, in terms of, if you watched the previous videos that I did talking about the schematic Secret Lair bonus cards, where they had like the Panharmonicon and the Lightning Greaves and stuff like that, those don't show up as frequently as the other Secret Lair promos. So that, to me, is probably the first attempt to create a rarity structure, but maybe it didn't land the way they wanted it to or have as much of an impact, so they decided, you know what, why don't we print the numbers directly on the cards and only make 100 of these like they do in sports cards and just see how it goes. And I expect, overall, this is going to boost sales. It's interesting the way that it affects Secret Lair sales in terms of it kind of boosterifies Secret Lairs. This is Wizards of the Coast turning Secret Lairs into booster packs. Because if you really boil down the essence of a booster pack, yes, you can use a booster pack for draft. And yes, there are a bunch of cards in a booster pack, but let's be very real. If you watch the majority of people opening Magic boosters, whether in real life or even in videos online for other people's entertainment, it's all about the money. It's all about the bigness, the goodness, the rareness. What is that one card in your pack, right? The rare or the mythic rare. Theoretically also a foil maybe, but either way, it's only 1 or 2 cards you care about in that pack. The most of the commons and uncommons get thrown by the wayside and get completely unappreciated. And you really should go and look at some of them sometimes, because they have awesome flavor. Like, a lot of cards just get thrown aside like they don't matter, but I don't want to go off too much on an aside about that. The point is that, in my opinion, for most people, a booster pack is a chance at a random rare or mythic rare. Which cool rare or mythic rare am I going to get? But Secret Lairs had a very static feel to them in terms of the bonus cards you could get. There was no level of stratification between them, so you had the same chance, it seemed like, of getting either kind of promo that went with them. And then they did the basic land bonus cards, which really kind of like amped down people's feelings about the promos, right? Because it's like, oh, I can just get an island or a forest. We're not even talking about the Phyrexian Tech Swamp. Just a basic land? Like, that was a bad move. So this is them flipping in the other direction, where now every Secret Lair has a chance. Most likely you're just going to get the regular bonus card. But you got that chance that that one card might actually be something crazy and amazing. So it gives you the same kind of pull, so the same kind of draw to it that a booster pack has, right? Like, let's be very real about Magic the Gathering. It draws in a lot of people with addictive personality types. I know that for a fact. I'm like that, right? And a lot of people are like me. We're kindred spirits. We like to crack the boosters and stuff. You know what I mean? You get it that if you just go to the singles market, yes, I'm going to come out ahead. Let somebody else take the risk of opening the stuff and whatever. But you like to open it. You like to get the stuff, right? So the whole like setting Secret Lairs up as a booster pack in a way is a really clever move on Wizards of the Coast part in terms of boosting sales, because it's going to work, and you'll have people who will open a bunch of these Secret Lairs who are going to be happy hunting for it, and the people who hold Secret Lairs sealed will be happy as well, because up until now, my feeling was holding Secret Lairs sealed was a pretty big gamble, because if you look at the scenario, there's only a few cards in that Secret Lair. So if you take the cards out of the Secret Lair, the shipping costs are drastically reduced, right? It's way cheaper and easier to ship a handful of Magic cards instead of the crates that Wizards of the Coast put them in. Although they're making smaller boxes now, so that's less of an issue. But either way, before, it was like, okay, crack them open, you know, whatever, just sell off the cards individually. Keeping it together doesn't matter if all of the same cards are in each one. If the set inside of it is identical, you don't get that much of a premium for it being sealed. But if somebody has the choice between, you know what, I want to get all 5 Phyrexian Praetors in the Phyrexian language, and they go, I could buy them as singles. I could buy like the Secret Lair from somebody as singles or whatever, or I could pay X amount more and buy the sealed one that comes with a chance to get 1 out of 100 of these crazy cards. And like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? If you don't think that this is going to get crazy, you're kidding yourself. Like, this is going to succeed very well for Wizards. It already is. The hubbub around it, the hype, the fact that the first card, which is just a common, commanded thousands of dollars, that will have an impact on people. It is genuinely a remarkable moment, and it sticks in your brain. So these cards are going to be perceived as very valuable commodities. That's unavoidable. But the question is, where do we go from here? Are they going to extend the concept out into regular booster packs? Probably at some point, because Wizards of the Coast certainly does love to take a concept and do it over and over and over and over without realizing that eventually you've milked the cow dry. It's done. Like, Full Art Lands are a great example, where they were putting them in every single set. And they don't feel special and stand out if you don't have regular lands to contrast them against. You need to have that contrast of experience, right? This is how you want to have an experience. If you go like this, because of the way humans' brains are wired, this experience, even though it means that there are no lower dips or worse parts of it, you can't appreciate it. If you're literally happy all the time and you've never experienced any kind of sadness, it's meaningless to you, right? So I don't know if I'm getting the concept across right. Just Wizards of the Coast is going to do this more. And who's to say it's going to stop at just 100? Why not do 10 limited editions? Why not go, hey, you know what? For this next set that's coming out in standard, like let's say, for example, the Brothers War set that's coming out, all right? That's going to be at the end of 2022. That's about the battle between Urza and Mishra. Now imagine they said that they made one special Urza and one special Mishra. That's it. Like, they're super special, alternate art, crazy framed, whatever, but there's only one of existence of each. And they just happen to be in Brothers War product somewhere. Somebody who buys a bundle or a pre-release kit or a set booster box or a collector booster box or a draft booster box or whatever can get that one. There's only one copy in the whole world of it. What kind of a price tag would that command, right? Like, Where are we going to go from here with crazy limited editions? Clearly, Wizards of the Coast has found through their experiments with collector boosters and other things that creating all these different styles and stuff actually ends up devaluing everything because there's so many different options, and when everything's special, nothing is special. That kind of stuff applies, right? So there seems to be a dilution effect that's happening overall. But just going, boom, there's only 100 of these, all of a sudden, that's special. Even if there are a bunch of other cards that there's only 100 of, it doesn't change that it's special. There's something about the human brain that's wired to be attracted to rarity. Maybe not everybody, but seriously, we're drawn to rare things. It's in our nature, and they are using it to full effect here. So I'm curious to see where it's going to go. Anyhow, those are the thoughts I currently have. I plan to expound upon this further in another video once we've got more information and we see what else they're doing. But it's fascinating, and I wanted to talk about it. So let me know your thoughts, my friends, and we will reconvene for the next video. Big thank you to all my patrons. Goodbye for now.